we do to save money? Literally, what wouldn't we do? I was watching some episodes of Extreme Cheapskates on YouTube the other day because I thought it really is time to up my game and get more extreme in my cheapskatiness. And I've seen those shows before, but I thought this will be a good review. Let me see what they're doing that I can glom onto. I have to say, not a lot. There are things I wouldn't do just to save money. And it's hard to believe, isn't it? But even I have standards, low that they are. There's a cutoff. One lady lived in New York, and she, of course, got her food out of the trash, which, yes, we would do. She got food out of the trash of kind of an upscale grocery store. So it's one of those deals where you have the plastic clamshell container. Isn't that what they're called? Right? And then she had some chicken in it and some asparagus. You know, it's like this whole fancy dinner in this little package ready to go. So she got one that was chicken and asparagus, and she got another one that had meatloaf in it. And then she heated them up together in the same pot and served them to company for a little dinner party. I would not do that. First mistake is, why are you heating them up together in the same pot? Right there, you know your dinner party is going to be a failure. I don't think I would serve dumpster food to guests, except with the possible exception of my mother. Then there were people who went out to dinner, which I don't understand that right off the bat, because if you're really cheap and frugal, you're not going to a restaurant. It's a trick question right there that they all failed. But they go out to eat, so of course they have their leftovers wrapped up to come home. But this one guy would go to other people's tables and say, "That looks good. Are you going to finish it? Are you going to take it home?" I would not do that. I might go to the trash later and take that person's leftovers out of the trash, but I wouldn't go to the person and ask for their leftovers.
I wouldn't do that either.
It's bold.
Either one of those.
You wouldn't take their trash later?
Where would you find it?
Let's say you're at Panera and you're eating outside and you see someone throw something in the trash right there in front of you, and you say to yourself, "That bread looked okay and she looked pretty clean. We could take that bread and go feed the turtles." We're swimming around in a little man-made pond just behind Panera.
I would do that. I wouldn't eat it.
Here's one I definitely wouldn't do, and this really seemed to be a man thing. A couple different men who were featured on the show. One would blow his nose in a tissue and then dry it out and reuse it. It is so disgusting. And the other man would rinse out his paper towels after he used them and hang them to dry and reuse them. He must have some high quality paper towels, just the fact that he can do that and they don't fall apart. Paper towels themselves are such a waste. They could avoid that whole issue if they just used cloth dish towels. And just reserve paper towels for things like cleaning up cat vomit. Would you do surgery on yourself if you could? I don't know if people have really done this, but I've heard cheap people say they'd like to. If they could, they would. Would you take out your own appendix if you had to?
If I was a doctor...
Wait a minute. If you were a doctor and you could have anesthesia, you'd stay awake and take out your own appendix?
If you have to.
Think about all the things you do all the time. If he has a bump anywhere on his body, he's lancing it and trying to squeeze the inner goo out by himself. You do that all the time.
It's not surgery.
It's not surgery, but you're treating yourself medically. Got a skin tab? He's going to take a little piece of string and wrap it around and like strangle that little extra piece of skin until it just crumbles up and falls away.
Moles. Skin tabs you just rip off. I know, they bleed a lot. That's not being cheap.
You could go to a dermatologist and have something weird like that appropriately removed.
I would never go to a dermatologist. It wouldn't even cross my mind.
You just went to one on our last date.
You made me go. I know.
It was a date! Okay, what if you had a big gash? Would you suture it yourself? Could you give yourself stitches?
I'd hold it together.
With tape? Just duct tape it together? I think I would do that too, yeah. I think it's important to realize there are a lot of things we wouldn't do. It's heartening to know we have some standards. I'm not saying we pass for normal by any stretch.
As we ate our Thanksgiving dinner over an open fire pit.
In the backyard. And it was sausage out of a dumpster. I just roasted it. I didn't eat it. It was fun though. It was one of the funnest Thanksgivings ever. It was like a hobo Thanksgiving. Why do you think they were called hobos? Is it for Hoboken?
Homeless bums. Like a homeless, it's short for hobo. Like a homeless Bob could be like.
Oh, hobo is short for homeless Bob.
You spit in my eye.
There's homeless Bob, yeah.
Well, because no one knows who they are, what their name is. Like those bennies, you know the bennies?
No.
The guys in, they go to the Jersey Shore with the shorts and the black socks.
No. I know, peeing in a jar. So there's another lady on the Extreme Cheapskates program who is apparently herself a millionaire, and she saves money by not flushing her toilet because she doesn't want to waste the water, so she doesn't really use the toilet. She pees into a jar and then takes it out and puts it in the garden. The scene on the show, which is funny, is her asking her boyfriend to also pee in a bottle, and he says no, and she says, come on, I'll give you your own bottle, and he's like, oh, all right, I'll try it.
Just pee in the garden.
It's a lot easier for men
There's
to go
something
pee in the
weird.
backyard than for women. She's gonna want to squat over her toilet with her special bottle. She's not gonna want to go do it in the yard. I would, because I've done that. I didn't do it to save on flushing, because you know we save bath water for flushing. I did it for free fertilizer. I participate in this homesteading forum thing, you know, those little chatty forum things. So anyway, I was talking about my garden one year, and somebody was telling me how urine is free fertilizer for the garden because it's nitrogen, and you just water it down, so you're not, you know, pouring undiluted pee all over the place. You water it down, and it fertilizes for free. It's the freest, cheapest, bestest nitrogen fertilizer. So I've done that. Oh, there was another show that the guy was eating roadkill. I mean, he'd been doing it for 30 years.
I wouldn't eat a possum, but I'd eat a deer.
That's eating pigeon butt, if you ask me, if you're scraping it up off the road. I think it would be better just to go vegetarian in that kind of scenario.
No, I've had squirrels and rabbits and mourning doves.
You've eaten a squirrel?
Yeah. Some guy thing. Every guy's eating a squirrel.
Was it cooked?
Yeah, over a fire.
Did it have a head still on it? Oh God, it had the head on still. Oh, God.
Thanks for watching.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.